Greetings. This video is basically a disclaimer and informative video for anyone who finds my channel and is curious about what is going on here, as well as for my target audience, my fellow pretty honeys, American Exotical. I want to dive into a comment that recently stood out to me on my channel. The person presented a question and they were very thoughtful and respectful, so I'm here to break everything down and clarify the purpose of my channel. First things first, my channel is inspired by Exoticals United, so I encourage you to go watch her video, Exotic versus Exotical. She lays out the foundation for what our definition of an exotical is. We'll get a better understanding of why that term is not about race, it's about phenotype. Exotical is a term that was given to us, and so we've decided to claim it and create a space for ourselves using it. The exotical term was created in Black women's social media spaces to describe any woman who has Black ancestry in her phenotype but doesn't fit the traditional mold of what they consider a Black woman to be. Meaning, an exotical woman does not have the three features that create an unambiguous Black woman's phenotype. Those three features are dark skin, 4C hair, and unambiguous West African facial features. Exotical women may have one of these features or two, but we do not have all three together, and that is what makes us exoticals and not unambiguous dark-skinned Black women with 4C hair. Now, let me be crystal clear. My channel is a space specifically catered to American exoticals. Now, I did make my astrology videos for American exoticals, but astrology is a universal, art form. And so many women from all different backgrounds and ethnicities and races may connect to it, and I welcome that. I am very much a womanist, and so I do hope that every woman can live a quality of life that they enjoy. And I know that astrology can help women do that. So I welcome all women to enjoy the astrology content. And share it far and wide if you like. But if you are not an American exotical, meaning an American Black woman who does not have dark skin and or 4C hair and or West African facial features altogether, then this channel's content may be a little bit confusing for you. This channel is for American exoticals, and we have now created a subculture for ourselves within the Black women's social media spaces. So we have our own terminology, we have our own jargon, we have our own slang, and if you are not a Black woman in the exotical space, you probably won't understand anything that we're talking about. So everything on this channel is going to be confusing to you. Because it's for a specific subculture of Black American women. If this channel's content does not resonate with you, that is okay. It's okay. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You know why? Because there are millions of other YouTube videos that you can watch, that you can connect with, that you can understand very clearly, that won't confuse you. Like, you can connect and resonate with all the other YouTube videos that you feel connect with you better. But this channel, my videos that I will be creating, are specifically for Black women who have at least 25% African ancestry and who benefit from the isms, colorism, featureism, and or texturism. Okay? Exoticals did not create this sector of YouTube, the subculture of social media, because we wanted to exclude anybody. Oh, on the contrary, we were actually excluded from Black women's spaces. We were told that we should not represent Blackness. because we do not have dark skin and 4C hair and broad West African facial features. If we had one or two of those things, we were considered exotic and therefore not appropriate to be speaking over women who had those phenotypes. And so out of respect for them, I left. Because I do have one of those features, but I don't have all three of those features. So I felt that out of respect for my Black sisters, I should not be representing their image. I don't look like them. They should be representing their own image. And I should not be speaking over them because I don't have their life experiences. I don't know what it's like to be a dark-skinned Black woman. I don't know what it's like to be a woman with broad West African facial features. So I should not speak over them when they're talking about their experiences. Now, even though I do have type 4 hair, I don't have type 4 hair and those other two features that phenotypically would make me an unambiguous dark-skinned Black woman. So even though I may feel like, oh, I can relate, I have the same hair as you, it's not the same. And I know it's not the same because I listen to their stories and I hear how their life experiences have been different from mine because of the way that they look. And I empathize with that. And I respected that they need their own spaces to tell their stories and have their voices be heard. So I left their spaces. But Exoticals United created an Exotical space. And so I felt like, hey, this is a space for me. Another reason that I left that space is because Black women made it very clear that the conversation about dark skin included women from other ethnic groups who were not Black American women. And since I am a Black American, I don't know anything about other Black women's ethnic groups. Not really. I'm not knowledgeable about that. So it really stifled the conversation for me. I didn't have anything to really contribute because I can't speak on what I don't know. So again, I created this channel to be a space for American Exoticals so I can talk to other American Exoticals. Because one thing I do know, I know about America, okay? I know that. I may not know about other people's countries, but I know mine. And I wanted to speak about the issues that affect Black women who share my nationality. Now that I've cleared that up, this space is not an inclusive space. And that's on purpose. I know some folks may be like, oh, wait, why would you say that? Why it's not inclusive? Why it's not a safe space? The simple answer is because it's not supposed to be. This is a niche sector of YouTube. This is literally a subculture. Nobody was wanting to have conversations with Exoticals in Black women's spaces. I feel like we deserve the right to keep this space exclusive to us. And particularly for American Exoticals because of the reasons that I just previously mentioned. Okay. There are plenty of other spaces on the internet that are inclusive. You can go to them. This ain't one of them. Now, I specified this in the description of my channel. If you go to the About section of my channel, it literally spells out what this space is for. And so you can read there and see, more in detail. Now, let's break down about what an Exotical is further so that there's no confusion about what an American Exotical is, okay? But first, let's just talk about Exoticals. So, there's a common misconception going around on social media that Exoticals are a race. That's false. Exotical is not a race, okay? We never claimed it was a race. Exoticals come from many different racial backgrounds, but the main key feature is that we have at least 25% Black ancestry. But you can be at least 25% Black and still be 75% Asian or 75% white or 75% Indian or 75% any other ethnic group, Latina, anything, right? We're all different races, but the point is that we consider ourselves Black women because we love being Black. That's why we're online literally trying to talk to other Black women about our experiences, because we love being Black and we want to connect with other Black women. So I wanted to bring that up too. Some of the haters of exoticals are saying, oh, they're over there calling themselves exoticals and trying to be a different race because they don't like being Black. They don't want to be Black. Literally, you cannot be an exotical if you're not Black. That's literally part of the definition that Black women came up with. We didn't create that definition. They did. So we love being Black over here. And I know that's probably difficult for them to understand because there is a lot of anti-Blackness in Black women empowerment spaces. There are monoracial exoticals who are 90% or more Black. But if they have a phenotype that benefits from one of the isms, featureism, texturism, colorism, then in Blackistan, Black women's communities, Black women will and have, according to these women's own stories, attack them and say, oh, well, your phenotype is Black, but you don't look like an unambiguous dark-skinned Black woman, so you can't represent us, or you should not speak over us. So then those women have been excluded, which is why they come over to the exotical space. This is actually a thing. Like, there's a lot of other Black women who felt othered and pushed out of the Black community because they do benefit from either featureism, texturism, or colorism in some way. So it's grown into this, larger, subsector of social media. And we decided to we gonna rock together. We gonna rock with it. All the exotical channels that are popping up now, like, we're all rocking with each other, and we're making a supportive community for Black women who are basically not unambiguous dark-skinned Black women. Next, to move on to the point about American exoticals specifically, okay? So the woman who left the comment on my channel mentioned addressing FBA, Foundational Black Americans, ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, and American Freedmen. Because I mentioned those terms in my video that she was watching. So she had some confusion thinking that those terms were synonymous with being exotical. And I just want to clear that up, okay? Some exoticals are FBA, some exoticals are ADOS, and some exoticals are American Freedmen. But all women from those ethnic groups are not all exoticals, because exoticals is based on a phenotype, okay? I mention those terms because I am ADOS, because I am an American Freedman. That is part of my ethnic background, and I'm phenotypically an exotical, and I want to talk about it on my channel. Next, I want to address the confusion that the commenter had about admixture and how other exotical channels have been separating people based on how much they look non-Black or how much non-Black blood they have. I don't necessarily know which channel this commenter was referring to even speak anything about it. But what I do know is that exoticals are having these conversations about admixtures because they're talking about phenotype differences, which is the main key issue that the Black women's empowerment space brought to us when they told us to leave their spaces, because our phenotype does not look like an unambiguous dark-skinned Black woman with broad West African facial features and 4C hair. So the reason that we don't look like that is because of our admixtures. It's because of our non-Black blood. It's because we don't look as Black as Black women want us to. So whether somebody has a high admixture or a low admixture of different ethnicities doesn't really matter to exoticals, because we're discussing how we're perceived in the world and how we're treated in the world based on our privileges that we get from our phenotype, or based on how Blackistan has treated us because of our phenotype. Telling people they're not exotical because of their DNA, like, that's not happening in the spaces that I'm in on exotical channels. So I'm not sure what channel that lady was talking about,
But I just want to make that very clear. I'm not doing that over here. Especially because my channel is for American Exoticals. In America, we literally have the one drop rule, okay? And even though it's not legally enforced anymore, I still say we literally have it because Black women have still been enforcing it. So anybody who got any little bitty drop of black is still considered Black. So for people to say, oh, Exoticals are trying to like say people are separated by their blood type, that is not true. Black people always been lumping in everybody who got a drip drop of black in them, okay? And Exotical channels is embracing everybody. You got some black in you, okay? Come on. We're part of the Pretty Girl Club. We're part of people who embrace being beautiful women and embrace our blackness in whatever amount we got. And we are on this channel as American Exoticals, talking about our American experience as Exoticals and talking about how to stack our American privilege. Okay. So I hope this clarifies things for everyone. This space is specifically for American Exoticals, and I'm gatekeeping this corner of the internet because we have earned the right to speak on our own experiences. If you are not an Exotical, this is probably not the space for you, and that's okay. If you're not an American Exotical, this might not be the space for you either, and that's okay, because the Exoticals, baby, we got tons of channels. I follow some South African Exoticals, some Exoticals from Latin America. Like, we got Exoticals all over the world, baby, okay? So if you don't resonate with things on this channel, I'm pretty sure there's an Exotical channel that you will resonate with. But I do want to add one more thing. Okay. This channel, I put in my banner, it's about education, technology, and culture. And so if you are not a person who likes to educate yourself or you're not intellectually curious, this channel is not for you. I'm going to offend you because I have naturally been an intellectually curious person since I was a child. I absolutely love learning for the sake of learning. I want to know everything. I want to be omniscient if it's possible. Like, I literally love learning. And so I tend to have a disdain for people who don't have that same type of passion for wanting to know things. So if you don't like learning, this probably ain't the channel for you either. And that has nothing to do with your race, ethnicity, nationality, none of that. This is just like, who are you as an individual? Who are you as a soul? Are you a soul that's come to earth that actually wants to experience education and like learning things for yourself and researching things for yourself? If you are, then you're probably my people. But if you're not, you might want to move around. Anyway, I hope this clears things up for the commenter. If you're still confused, you can ask more questions, but I advise you to please do your research. We have an Urban Dictionary page, and it has plenty of information about the terminology that we use in exotical spaces and the different phrases and definitions. So I advise you to look that up before you drop any more comments on my channel, as well as go look at Exoticals United's channel. She has over 700. I repeat that. She has over 700 videos explaining about the exotical experience. So I also advise you to go listen to some of her videos about exoticals and exotical experience and definitions and different things like that before you leave any more comments on my channel, because I'm pretty sure she's already answered your questions. Now, I want to address my fellow American exoticals, my pretty honeys. As American exoticals, we have the right to be focusing on our own privileges and stacking them. Okay. We have American privilege, and that is one of the most emotionally important privileges for me, simply because of like how much blood, sweat, and tears has literally gone into creating that privilege for me to have as a Black woman in America, as an exotical woman in America. I noticed that the Black women empowerment spaces don't really talk about American privilege, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to just say it. American privilege is a superpower that Black American women need to be stacking. Okay. It's something that women from other countries don't have access to. And that's not shade. It's not shaming them either. It's just a fact. We need to capitalize on it. as Black American Exoticals, we need to take full advantage of it. And so that's why I created this channel, for us to talk openly, unapologetically, and without guilt about our experiences as American Exoticals. So a little bit of background about like how this space came to be. Like, why did I decide to get on YouTube and start talking? When I first came to YouTube, I was in Black women's empowerment spaces, and because I was like young, I was like in my 20s, and I was naive. I expected that like when I searched for like Black women stuff, it was like American Black women, because from what I had experienced, other women who were Black but were from other nationalities that weren't American, they would not necessarily call themselves Black. They would call themselves their nationality. And so when I was searching Black stuff, I thought the women that I would be connecting with and talking to were Black Americans, right? But that wasn't the case. And so whenever I would start, sharing my experiences or speaking about different things or giving like different tips or hints or like sharing resources and stuff, there would be women who were not Black American entering the conversation. And that started to kind of cause like some confusion for me, because my knowledge and experience is limited to being an American woman. And so I can only speak on what I know. And I only know what it's like to live as an American woman. I don't know what it's like to live as any other nationality. So when I would speak on issues about Black women, I was talking about Black American women. I wasn't talking about other people. And I was intending to engage with my people. I ended up doing the math, and I saw that Black American citizens who are female make up around 7% of the United States population. Okay. Then about half of those female citizens are children. So this means that Black women in the United States, Black adult women, only make up 3% of the population. 3%. Okay. And because our data, like census data, doesn't actually tell us which people in those 3% of Black women are ADOS, FBA, or Solon. Shout out to my Solanis. I love that name that we're using for ourselves now. I'm going to get the flag and everything. Anyway, because we're only 3% of the population, the data doesn't tell us like which part of that 3% are Black women who are immigrants. So I suspect that our population is even less than 3% of the American population. Like Black women who are like ADOS, FBA, Solon, we are probably less than 3% of the American population as far as like adult Black women. So when I started looking at those numbers, I was like, wait a minute, that's not really that large of an amount of people. Like we could actually connect on the internet and like have conversations to like improve our quality of life in ways that we never could before. And so, especially because Black women are like spread out all over the country, like we don't even live in the same states. So like we could have localized groups where, Black women were able to connect, and like, Black women who had shared values could like connect on different solutions for things. And like, I just knew it was realistic. Like it was feasible for us to like actually do that. But when I came on the internet and I started like presenting these things, Black women who are not American come into the conversation and basically derail it. And considering the state of the union, I was like, Black women focusing on ourselves is an act of self-preservation. Like we've all heard the news, by the year 2050, Black American net worth will be at 0. Okay. But the year 2050 is only 25 years from now. So we literally have less than a generation, less than a lifetime to focus on improving overall Black American women's economic status. And since the Black women empowerment space like don't seem to be wanting to talk about that, because they've basically like opened the door and like let immigrants come in and like control the conversation, I think it's imperative for Black American Exoticals to like put on our own oxygen mask first and save ourselves. Like we can build a life raft for ourselves and like float the fuck away from Blackistan that's drowning like willingly. Anyway, I just think that like me creating this space would be a way for us to be able to pour into each other, because we can connect on YouTube and have conversations on ways to like economically advanced for exoticals. Another thing I noticed was like how on TikTok it's so much easier to find other Black Americans because we can hear each other speak and we can see each other. Like there's something about when you listen to other like Black American women speak, especially exoticals. When I say Black American, I really am just talking about exoticals in this, okay? Listening to other exoticals speak, like that she's an American woman because you can tell from the way that she speaks. Like you can tell from like the cadence of like her tone and like the slang she uses. Like we know who's our people, right? And I think that that's like really amazing because like before we only had like Facebook connect on, and that those like platforms were mostly text based, like text, and like Facebook is kind of picture based, but people weren't like heavily doing videos on Facebook, whereas like with those type of platforms, people talking in the comment sections could literally be from anywhere and they could say that they're American, but like we can't hear them talk, so we don't really know, you know what I mean? But like TikTok, people are making multiple videos, so you get to see their actual personality. You get to see like who they are, how they live, how they dress, what they eat, like with song choices they putting on their TikTok videos. Like who's your people. I just think that's a beautiful thing. Like I just really love that we're in an era now where we have technology available to actually connect with each other and not have interference from other people trying to derail our conversations or sabotage our efforts to actually connect. Like if you're a pretty girl, like you need to have some money because we already know how Blackistan is. Like they gonna make your life live in hell if you pretty. So you need to get out of Blackistan. And I think that like because we can connect with other exoticals who have the same type of like personalities as us, in America, it's so much easier to like make that happen because we can find each other a lot more easily now. So anyway, if you're an American exotical, we're going to continue deep diving into American privilege stacking. We're not going to apologize for being exoticals. We're not going to apologize for having American privilege. And we're not going to apologize for stacking up every single privilege and advantage that we can get. And we're going to make it do what it do. Thanks for listening, pretty honeys. Bye.